so many things already mentioned about me. Let me say one very frank thing. With all due respect and apology, I am not that one. I am a very, very tiny, only small fraction of the whole group. And this is a journey, and that's why very frequently I used to say that I am a co-pilgrim. It is nothing like his scholar at all. Journey begins about 15 years back, moving here and there, meeting with several people from several countries, maybe about 200 such people, scholars from different parts. And then they try to come to understand what Panchmukhi has rightly said. You may call it a multidisciplinary, I call it cosmic. Because in Indian context, not Indian Bharatiya context, it is like different. So I will cite some of the examples. The one thing is that this is nothing like well-organized lecture. Let me say very frankly. It is just like you can pluck flowers from different gardens and put together. It is up to you that what fragrance you like and how you are going to interpret this one thing. And whatever I am presenting, this is not my work at all. It is simply based on this whole experience, what I received from masters, friends, colleagues, teachers. I am presenting like this, just like you said, old but nothing like old. I am a student before. And he has cited Ishad and all that, so before I can say something. So we say yatha namo tatha guna. As the name, so that your fame or work whatever. Panchamukhi. This Panchamukhi word used for, if I can use Kashi, because your roots coming from Kashi. So we have Panchabhutas. Panchabhuta Parameshwara. The 5 forms of Shiva. I will show you some of the examples. And then we have different other perspective also. So if all that Panchamakaras and whatever it may be, so you are Sakshat Pratirupa of that one. So Namaskar is right, and when the 5 meet together, you will find in my lecture that becomes a Matrik Shakti. Like so, confusing way, when we cite Rig Veda Gayatri Mantra, always we say that this is the mantra in honor of sun god. But go in depth. No, that is the motherly spirit of that whole solar system. So in that perspective, namaste to you. And I just touch your feet, then only I can start. Because without Panchamukhi, nothing can be done. Okay? So Radha Pranam, with that perspective, you can see the great founder, photographer in the corner. Next please. Okay. So this is something like dedication to a great master going through the internet and Wikipedia. So it is very difficult to say what was his discipline. He never followed any discipline. He never followed any path. That is something like ocean. All the rivers go there, and inside there is such, where is Gangaji, where is Jamunaji, nobody knows that. It is up to you that how boundaries defined. So this is just a very small tribute and honor to that great master. And now you see the second slide. Anybody can recognize the lower side?
This is VR.
Yeah, that's why I said that link. I have tried to say that how these are linked. So this is a parampara, a great tradition going on, and through that great tradition, it is nothing like degree and diploma. It is a deeper sense of understanding. What we call that in a phrase way we say that anubhav say anubhuti ki or, from realization to go revelation. And that is the Bharatiya Parampara, and that's why I say Panchamukhi ji, you are Sakshat Rupa of that one. So just to give this little bit background, and then I have to put this one up. Okay. So before I can give you the example, something background from here and there. Nothing like systematic way, and if you follow the law of theoretical physics, disorder itself is an order. So following fridge of copper, I very frequently cite, and I will give some examples from that. So just giving you two perspectives. The left hand side you can see That is the map. Here. Yes, sir. So that is based on Ramayana. Valmiki's Ramayana. Very simply, we have used Bhandarkar publication of Ramayana and then literally tried to plot that from Ayodhya, how Rama gone up to Rameshwaram. Then the second perspective was that to see the landscape. How Rishi has described the different flora, fauna, stone, nature, the whole cultural perspective. That is another part to understand that what was the Divya Drishti there. So this is one view, and then I will give you some example. Right hand side you can see this is a modern way, what we say pilgrimage centers, important pilgrimage centers. We have different textual tradition according to that. We define pan-Indian, the regional, the replicated, the special transposition, the different categories of that one. To give you one perspective that you can prepare yourself to think over that one. Here is a question. Left hand side you can see this is not yet research. Of course research is going on. How on a particular longitude that is before 10th century, the Panchamukha, that same 5 organic related Shivalingas are there, then one up and then one down. They all are in the one sequence. Who has made this? Why that was made? How they are still active? So that is a big question, still nothing solved. Discussion going on. Some astronomers, Indian Institute of Science here, Shivkumar Menon, etc., they are working. So giving you this perspective that sometimes it is very difficult to say that when you are working on the natural field or spots, how they are. Nowadays we have high level technology, high level sophisticated GPS, high resolution, electromagnetic waves, etc., etc. So some of them are very useful to understand and reinterpret these things. So giving this just an idea. Okay, just completely going something different from here. When we are talking about the different location and series, 108 number is very standard number and we have 108 explanations. If you read Subhas Kak and other such writing from theoretical physics, then you see whole calculation is there. What I say, sometimes what happened, there is nothing like direct like it is invisibly split. Like you see a man, you can compare the beard and other face, which is very close to Panchmukhi. So he is Leonardo da Vinci in Indian or Dharwad context. I feel like this. Okay? So that man, talking in 15th century, I have studied for 6-7 years, going to Milano and under whatever collection is it. And I found so many things very similar to Indian context, while he never visited Asia at all. So this is just to give you an incident that several times such in-depth spirit or divine spirit or you can say manifested spirit just used by some persons and they have explained it. So just giving you idea. The three perspectives when we are talking circularity, triangle and then square, the three levels. This we can say that goes to a Vedic tradition. That I will explain and give you example like this. These are just giving you the background of that one. Here is something. When you talk in Western terms, or you can say colonial approach, or you can say mostly English writings by English people or Western people, Shivalinga is always defined, or mostly defined, that is erotic sign, pollution, prakriti, sexual and blah blah, and then Khajuraho, all this nonsense. I have worked under a very famous astrophysicist. I have never studied science at all, so let me say very frankly. Somehow, Kim Marvel, who has been once advisor to the space program and Kasturi Rangan collaborated with him, I have worked under him for about 7 years. That was a project sponsored by National Science Foundation and partly by NASA, etc., etc. The one thing he said that, look, your problem is, he was just commenting to me, he said, your problem is you have preconceived concept and it is mostly Western. And then you think like this. So when we are planning, this was 1995, go to Khajuraho, I said, look, I am not interested in this nonsense thing. He said, that is your problem. Just first clean your mind. The word he used, Rana, first clean your mind and think that nobody else on this earth done anything more than Indian sages, and you people call a rishi. No, no. They were the great scientists of that time who have very close relationship with the nature. Now I am citing this example like Shiva Linga as a mandala. This phrase has been used by living legend in theoretical physics, that is Fritz of Capra. Those who have gone through the book, The Tao of Physics 1975, now several editions. First time we tried to explain it is nothing like Shiva Linga. It is the whole cosmic reality, origin, existence, completion and recycling. It is nothing like Shiva is a god of destruction, wrong translation. Shiva is a god to complete a cycle and restart. It is spiral. And that is the third part of that. So just giving you this background, because we are going to talk about many Shiva Linga, so one has to keep that. That is the idea that we have done, our scholars have tried to say. One very miniature form, like he himself, one person, but his name, and I have added Etranam of the Taguna. Okay? 5 in 1. Here is 18 character that is in one Kritavasheshwara. There are hundreds of Kritavasheshwara all over India. So if you worship Kritavasheshwara and you know the meaning, manifestation, and other in-depth sense behind that, then you can think you yourself is God. It is just like Swami Vivekananda. There is nothing God outside. You have to realize you yourself that. So the level you reach that, so this is another example we will see in the field when we are talking about sacred landscape. So I have darshan, today is Shaman Shukra Paksha Dutiya. So here is Vishwanath. Okay, so I thought that that will be good to have a darshan on this special occasion. Now try to concentrate at the center of this linga. Closely you can watch. This is not spherical. This is something like pestle. The way it is described is just like Ardhanarishvara. Matra Shakti is attached. Parvati, Uma, whatever part you can say. There are 324 parts of mother. So that is attached there. And that's why you can interpret in more physical sense what you say Ardhanarishvara, Prakita Purushara. But that is a unification for the creation. This is another background we will see in the field. These are the same thing that when we are talking about the 3 levels, that is a circle that is represented with the light, then is a square with the water, and then triangle with the wind. These terminology also used by Leonardo da Vinci. And in our literature also used in a different perspective. When you multiply with the numerical system, then you very easily find the same number 108. One more thing I have to say, that when you are counting this rosary, 108 times, I think many of you, I mean maybe Rudraksha, Tulsi, whatever maybe, we think this is the ritual thing. But if you can follow Fritz of Capra, Jacob, or such Paul Davis, etc., theoretical physicists, what they say, no, this is something very unique thing. This is first time in Indian metaphysics coming from the Atharva Veda. So that is related to integration of space and time. Time, we say Khataritu, 6 seasons. But due to colonial approach, we always say there are 3 seasons. But in fact 6. Khataritu, description you see as a Veda. And always every Ritu having 2 phases. Up and down, up and down. So multiply 6 into 2 is equal to 12, and that's how mass, 12 months. Okay? So that became the time phenomena, Kala Chakra. And then you can see the other side, you can say space phenomena, 4 direction, then cardinal, 4, 4 plus 4, and all meet together at the center, then only that can move. 4 plus 4 plus 1 is equal to 9. We say 9 goddesses. We have 9 rupa, etc. And then you multiply. 12 into 9, 108. It means the moment you are counting the rosary, your body, soul, mind, and thought, for 1 year we are going to have the whole circle of the cosmos. That was another perspective, what we see in the field. So these are some of the conceptual background. Okay, now coming to 1, 2 more points and then examples. Here is that we always say that there are Triloka, Trilokanatha, like that. Kim Malvi tried to put it, that credit goes to him. 1965 he published a paper, and theoretical paper based on his own observation in India, especially South India, Humphrey Vijayanagar station. He has worked during late 60s and 70s. So he said there are three levels: the macrocosmos, mesocosmos, and microcosmos. Macrocosmos of the terrestrial reality. What you think in a more popular way, we say Swarga. But in technical sense, that is terrestrial reality. And all represented on the earth, that is the mesocosmos. Like we say that Surya ka mandir ye hai. So it means the representation. That is the mesocosmos. And then come third level, your body itself. Like your temple itself is a body. Ling itself is a body. Or a particular garbhagriha in a sanctum, you make a journey that is there. So these three levels to be considered as a link together from the terrestrial to the micro level, and then that could be tested in the field. Altogether, that is called pilgrimage mandala. So it is the three characters like that. This is another, you can say, theoretical perspective. Two more words we have to try to use with, that if you are not considering what we call devatva, and one of the great writers from Varanasi, Bosde, Sharan Agrawal, who was the guru of Kapila Vashain, he wrote an article long back in 1958-59, Bhumi ko devatva pradhan, the mother earth having the divine energy. But if you are not considering, then that is a planet. The moment you get attached, then you can feel. So we have tried to, when I say we, it means not me, it is the whole group. So that I have always to say with apology, I am nothing, I am just presenting. So that is, if you are not having the sense of that devatva, then no way you can interpret at least ancient culture. We have worked in 3-4 countries, in Japan, South Korea, then China, and then Sweden. We have worked in that area, similar to that one. Here I am presenting only this. But something important, that UNESCO body dealing with astronomical phenomena, they accepted this concept, but in Indian context not. Indian context we always try to superimpose English and translation, etc., etc. So with all due apology. And other thing is that Astha Maya. Sometimes we say, when Astha translated, we say this is superstition. It is not superstition. You have not reached to that level. I will give you some example where modern science is going to fail and measure like this. It is not only mystery, it is something about that one. So that is another conceptual frame. Okay, a term we have coined here, that when we call Tirtha, the way people have interpreted pilgrimage place, we have never having in our literature, if you read original Sanskrit text, it is not the point. It will always have the territory. And best known example you can see from the Ramayana period, when there is a discussion of Yagavallaki ashram. So the moment you enter in the ashram, your mind is changed. Where is the point? So it is not only Tirtha. The word should be Tirtha Kshetra. And that's why the word has been coined, thanks to some of the psychology, like Peter David, in his book Ecophysiology, he had accepted this concept, sacred escape, and mostly using plural sense. It is not one power, it is the combination of so many powers. We define elements. So this is one thing. Second conceptual frame, we have always to say, the moment you reach in a particular temple area, mostly we are talking ancient, not the modern colonization and tamasha. No, we are not talking that one. Sorry to say that. Then your mind is going to be completely linked with some divine force. And you are behaving in a different way. The moment you come out, then you become more worldly. And that concept we try to say, faith escape, astha kshetra. So these are two basic things when we are talking pure spatial phenomena, then sacred space. When you are talking deeply about the deep psychology, if you follow Carl Jung, etc., then we can say that is a faith escape. Within these two, we will see where is the sacred landscape. So these are some of the basic background. Now, before I can start with the example, let me say here two quotations One from Fritjof is still alive, he is 96 years old. Okay? And he's still active. I have a very good connection with him and he's one of my mentors who inspired. So first thing long back, 20 years back when I said that, look, I don't know alpha and beta of anything related to physics. Then he said, that's good. And I said, why? Now you Indian knowing so many mystery, so many complicated things of the cosmos that we have to learn. So you tell that story, I will cite you all the abstract and that will be wonderful. That's why I am quoting from the same book, Tao of Physics. Science does not need mysticism and mysticism does not need science, but we human beings need both. That's another perspective from Albert Einstein. If at first the idea is not absurd, then there is no hope for it. Simple thing is this. So what is happening, we always say, oh, this is superstition. How superstition? You are superstition. You have not reached to that level. So that is another perspective to see, and his famous, the equation, what is E is equal to mc square, so we have transferred it in his spiritual magnetism, S is equal to ft square, and we have written about that one theoretical. So these are some of the background. Now we are going to one more concept, then example. Here is something unique, like I think only sir can answer how many Kashis in South India. How many Kashis in South India? You are the most experienced person. There are 16 Kashis here, and all before 11th century. A recent research has been done based on the document and architectural style by Devi Gupta and the group. They found 16 Kashis. And the parampara is exactly the same way, just like prayer to Kashi Vishwanath. You go in the temple, you have to say Vishwanath Ashtakam by Shankaracharya. So it is nothing only Kashi is only in Banaras. Kashi is everywhere. This process is called, in English, the term was given by Dynaic, spatial transposition. It means in a given space, the original thing has been remade, but made in a way that the moment you reach, that becomes original. And Neil Mayad Guruji, a German fellow, who does not know a single word of Hindi or Sanskrit, anything. He's a famous architect, that's all. But he is an enlightened person. I work under him more than 30 years. What he said, this is the only one thing, nowhere in the world, 16 years I have passed, nothing this concept is, only in India. And from micro, you understand the whole cosmos. Some example of it. So here you see, left hand side, some of the important sites, like 24 sites, like 4 dimensional, you can say 4 sides, the 7 sides, etc., etc. That has been replicated in Varanasi before 9th century. So we have done this work. You go to the original site in India, like one example, Rameshwaram. I will cite one example. You go to Rameshwaram, just you take the picture, with the computer help and program, you try to reduce it, and then go to Varanasi. Take the picture of Rameshwaram there, and then you try to compare that is 80% the same design. So we have the two systems. One we call environmental setting. So that is the water site. In Varanasi also there is a big pond there. Then you have to do the same ritual, and the main priest of that Rameshwaram in Varanasi having that link with the original, just like you. So you are Sakshat Pratirupa of that one. This way that is maintained, and what Dynaic used to say, this is unique concept in India, spatial transposition. So this is another perspective of that one. Now I am starting with examples. These are the theoretical general background. Like very simple question. If you ask about the Aditya, the images of Surya, very commonly you say 12. Dwadas Aditya. Okay? John Kimball will ask this question. Now, there must be 13. If there is no 13, then how 12 can move on the circumference? When we got to several pundits, most of them say, oh, these are nonsense people from the West and Gori Chamadi wale, nothing like that. But one of the very small fellow, in a sense you can say, he said, no, you are right. They will say, okay, search the text. And we got the text. And a single word has It is just like discovered something. Just like Archimedes, Eureka. Kim Malvin jumped, my goodness, here is the thing, 20 years I have lost this searching place. And that was Samba Dite Kendri Bhute. Samba, the son of Krishna, by Jambanti, Aditya, Surya, Kendri at the center, Bhute, and here was a big mistake. Bhut means either ghost, spirit, or past, and that was the greatest mistake. Then that scientist said, no, you are a scholar of Sanskrit grammar, a very small young chap, you can search Panini, original, no way translation. And then we found that Bhut means infinity of time. Then he said, my goodness, I was searching this in 30 years, searching that where will be the center from where we can measure. Now, see the result after this. Here is the result. This is only one piece in the whole world. See the central line, if you can just see this, my cursor is moving. On 14th of January, Makar Sankranti, every year the light is going to touch first Yamaditya, Yamaraja, and then going to Sambaditya. This measurement was done for 7 years. Always the decimal, from decimal 5 digits, the same measurement always came. That was published in the scientific literature. Now you can relate with the Mahabharata, that how Bhishma has taken this vow that I will so ikshabnattu. I can die whenever I think. But he was just waiting. When that Makar Sankranti came, Uttarayana, the Nadarani, the root of the sun, then he opened his breath and he died. That simple story inspired John Kim Marvin. He said, yes, now measure it. And then he said, this is the thing. That was the astronomical phenomena completely converted into mythic story or mystical story, but somehow we always say mythology. And mythology means something nonsense. And that was a great mistake. When it was being plotted, you see the result. If you can watch this line, you see this straight line? First time in history, that goes to 9th to 10th century. Lolarka Kunda, then he said you can worship at Lolar Kunda and then go Uttararka, the northernmost sun. Draw the line, that is the cosmic north. Never before in any literature, whatever scientists say, this whatever I am saying, this is based on mostly NASA report and all that. Never happened that exact cosmic north to be explained, and here is already existing, and mostly old ladies going for the well-wish of the family and the grandson, etc., doing the ritual, first to Lorak, do this sankalp, going there. And this way, Kim Malvin will say, oh my goodness, we have to decode all this. This is one example. Similarly, we have plotted all this, so I am not going to explain all this. Those who are interested, they can put this solar shrine in Banaras and you can get free download, etc. This is just to give you one example of that one. The right hand side, you can see all the rituals are going. So this is a very famous place for childbirth and care, etc. It was not easily possible that medical test we can do. So only anthropological tests are done and the result came 60%. Those who perform all the rituals as are ordained in the Shastra, they can get conception. But no way you can prove properly. So this and we put this note that this is more anthropological, not medical, not possible that blood test and all this test you can do. That was something technical problem. Anyway, this is the example. But anyway, the good part is that credit goes to Subhas Kok, a very famous computer and electronic man, engineer from US, that he put this under UNESCO astronomy in cultural astronomy in the life of people, the only one example in the whole world. So calculate, I am not talking astrology, I am talking astronomy. So that also you have to keep in mind. Okay, see that southernmost I have cited a site. Look, this is called Lark Code. So if you can draw this line here, like this, and then you can see it like this. Of course, people say this is 18th century, many of the historians, but 18th century, that is repairing. The first time description we found the Mahabharata. Mahabharata mentioned two sides, And already different carbon or scientific thing then get done here, and that goes to 9th century. What I have shown you, the line exactly east to it, exactly north south, all cosmic. How that has been constructed. And you can find such thousands of examples in South India. Here that you know that how the city was destroyed 3 times. The city has been recreated. So these are nothing like very perfect, but in South India, anyway, such detailed work not done yet as far as my knowledge goes. Anyway, look here how the symbolic thing has been converted into the ritual frame or our the ritual system, you can say. Lakh Chaurasi Janma Gamayo. Like Kabir, etc., the mystical poet, what he says that 8.4 million organic species in the cosmos. Only 5 years ago, following the Hubble's law, based on the Hubble study group, that number of species in the whole cosmos was about 10 million. Our calculation was 8.4 million. So Fritjo Capra in the first edition said, how these people have calculated this? Which method was there? So he used to say that, look, they were very closely linked to the power of nature. So what they say, God, it is not God. In terms of a God, that was the energy of the full nature. That's how they calculated all this. Now, okay, so the story is going on that according to your karma, whatever you do, you will be born. Like you are biting somebody, the next birth you will be born as snake. You are barking too much, then you will be born as dog. Yes, exactly right. Okay, and if you are doing little bit good karma and taking holy dip at all the 84 gods, you will clean, but not 100%. Never moksha. No. This is another false concept. What do we think? You can come close by, but never moksha. If everybody follow the moksha, then where is this CMDR meeting? Everybody go in the heaven? Not possible. So, Dinikar, a writer, he said that we never want moksha, we never want Yudhishthira, etc. We want Arjuna to come, fight and create this world. Or anyway. So look here the system. 84 gods, we have tried to do this practice. If one can take holy dip from the southernmost god to the northernmost god, 1 to 84, this will take about 13 to 14 hours. And the rule says that in the wet clothes we have to go from one to another. In wet clothes you do the puja, offering to sun god, and then go to the temple, return back, asking excuse that I am leaving the next. So people say, oh, many people have done. Okay, it took more than 40 years. We never find any person who has done really in regular way. No. But they always claim that is Banarasi style. In Banarasi style, if you ask somebody, they say, yes, I have done. Prove it. Why to prove? I have done. This is the style. But anyway, then Kim asked this question, John Kim Mal will ask this question. What is this? Then how to solve this? Then you will find description. Then don't worry, you go to only 5 gods, Panchabhuta, and that is Panchatirthi, the same your name related like this. Okay, you go there, remember the rest, and then remember here, wonderful description given in 11th century Setu, that says that you are cheating Shiva and Ganga both. Because you are not going to 84, now you are going to only 5. Don't worry. Mother is always helping. You do it Chama Astrotam. Asking excuse, give more money to the priest, everything is solved. Niels Gustav said, the greatest authority in the architectural symbolism, just reference you can imagine, his book on Banaras took it 40 years to write, and that weight is only 6 kilograms. Who is my Guruji? Okay? Why I cited what he said, my goodness, people realize, the ancient sages realize this thing and they have converted in this manner. You go to only 5 and Chamasrotam, everything is solved. So you do mistake, don't worry, Chamasrotam, and give money to the priest. Priest will take all these other negative things, the problem is solved. Okay, this is the way now to have this sense here. Look, in the left hand side, what you see, that is how the 5 gods are related to sky, air, earth, water, and fire in Manikarnika, which is the cremation god. This is the way. That thing you can, again you can see in body symbolism, Yeah, here. Now one more important thing. Earlier we thought, due to Western approach, that Feng Shui is very important in China. So we have studied in China. For 4 or 5 years China, then Korea, and then the southern part also, Japan. And then we find that only 5-6 years before this COVID, they have already accepted this all India. Then again, historical mistake was always to say that Hinduism or Buddhism gone about 9th-10th century through China and they reached here there. Bye-bye. It is gone in 1st century. An exact date we found that is 4-8. Ranigan from Ayodhya, there are 2 Ayodhya. I don't know how many people are going there. Is another greater than South India, close to Mahabalipuram. It is 80 kilometers west from Mahabalipuram. Now archaeology have proved that. So somehow link like these things gone, and that's how now they have corrected that Feng Shui, that no Feng Shui is just like Panchabhutas. It is derived from there, it is nothing like only. In terms of the local influence, they have changed like this, okay? So just to have a glimpse of the Ghats, those who have visited Benares and Panch Mukherjee had memories, so to you especially, to remember this upper side is Assi Ghat, then upper side, right hand side, that is the Shashmir, the main Ghat, then Kremation Ghat, and then here is something typical example. This is based on Brahmavaivarta Purana, that is dated during the period of Akbar. So whatever the date decided, there is description there that how Kashi has evolved in time. So Kal is divided into 4 groups: Satyuga, then Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yuga. This is decoded. The way it is described that in Krita or Satyuga, the city has grown like the trident, 3/4 of Shiva. Then in Treta that became circle. In Dwapar that became like a Ratha. And then the sage described as Satasatani, Varshani, Titi, you can count. The date is coming about 1820-22. That the city will grow like this. And see the typical example, and that is a concept here. And now the first map, 1822. It is like concept. There they refer 14 points. The temple or shrine will develop, or 14 develop like this. So either you can say these are manipulation, or you can say those great sages were so much knowledgeable about the whole mystery of the landscape they have predicted like. It is up to you. But the most important is that one. The second one, Treta Yuga. The city grown like a circle. When you draw a circle, 2 things are important: a center and the radius. Then only you can draw the circle. And now we find from the Puranic literature here. See here. It is exact Panchkrosha, decimal 3-digit correct. And 200 times every center was measured. That was 7-year project. So accurate. And all the circumference, there are 96 signs. Demolished, changed, all that happened, but the original site and original ring animal is exactly the same. How that is maintained? Nobody knows. Only we can predict. So this is one of the example when you are trying to decode such things, you can see that. Anybody knowing Panchakroshi Yatra? This is one among the 3 such yatras in the whole world. The most organized, well developed, well maintained, and every day maybe 10-20,000 people going on, complete silent, well maintained. That is Santiago de Compostela. That is in France and Spain, and that is going about 2,100 kilometers. A special type of all arrangement, from helicopter, car, walking, all that. Those who have done a little bit Tirupati Yatra, you can feel like this. That is that. Second is Shikoku Yatra. That is 1,860 kilometers. And the third one is this in Kashi, that is Panchkoshi. Why I am saying this? Because there are 20-30 such yatras developed in India, but they have lost or changed too much, my goodness. Those who have visited Braj, it is 90% change. Braj Yatra is completely, in technical sense, corrupted. Nothing like that sign, all new things added and changed. But this is not changed. And that's why this is unique. 108 shrines are there. The same thing what I have referred to 108, the number and the space and time integration. Then you can see right hand side lower the measurement based on all this laser beam survey, etc. Ganesha. Why here is a very common question that Ganesha and Hanuman is offered sindoor. That was the question again raised before Janki marveled. So he said there is something mother split. So okay, in Mudigal Purana we got the story that how Parvati had transferred sindoor to give the mother power to Ganesh, because Ganesh said that now all that negative things cut in the head, etc. was, so I don't want to leave you, I always want to sit in your lap. Then Parvati said it is impossible because I am mother, I have to look after the whole world. Because no, this is the only thing I want. This boon you have to give. Then mother said, okay, don't worry. She took the sindoor, the power of a feminine power, and transferred. And that's why Ganesh got this word Vayanayaki, motherly form of Ganesh, and that's why he is offered sindoor. This is one of the stories. The other part is, now you can see this, here it is. He has 56 characters. 7, this is Kundalini Chakra, and then 8 direction, multiply 7 into 8. And that defines the whole sense of your cycle of life, which is the most important, most essential, first primordial thing in our life is what? Birth. And who will give the birth? Mother from there, cosmic union. And that is wonderfully described. Arc. The word is arc. That nectar is split where the two powers meet. It is nothing like in physical sense. That is wonderful description in the text. Okay? Here is now birth started, and then baby born. That is, again, I will cite only 2 examples. This will take a long time, coming up to the death. So that is that how mother is taking baby in the lap and then touching from the navel coat. That is described. That this is the spirit of Ganesh in the form of mother. Okay, what will be the last? What is the last in life? What type of death you want?
Quiet, silent.
Quiet and silent?
Healthy.
Or
Peaceful.
Moksha. Whatever you want. That is the way described. Whatever you want, that will be granted. And that name of Ganesh is Manikarna Vinayak. He is dancing, cosmic dance, with all that 56 character. And whatever good things you thought, all will be granted to you. This body will be finished, but your messages will be in the world. And that is the way. We have 27 such Ganesha in Maharashtra. And here all the 56 before 9th century. Whatever I am saying, it is all in practice. This is nothing like history only, it is all in practice. Yatra is going on. Every Sunday some yatra is going on. And 50 to 200 persons are doing their yatra. It is going on, continuous process. Then this is another example. Here is how the body symbolism to be put, that is described that Kashi is a body of Shiva, so that we have tried to put a shade on the map, and then we have tried to see where are those points described in the text. This way we have prepared the mapping and all details, 2,100 such temples. We have done very detailed GPS and all that observation, and etc. etc. Okay, see the theoretical. We started from Panchmukhi, now your roof is coming there. And we start the outer one is sky, and inner one is last one, fire like this. That is described that all that link to the Jnanvapi, well of the wisdom. So all the yatra, sankalpa lena, to have the vow and then completion of the vow. This way perform. So that is a theoretical perspective. Now you see the right hand side is the practical. So theoretical diagram and now the practical exact plotting. And this plotting is nothing like topographic map. It is a high resolution GPS, and that was under the project. That's why it is done like this. And nowhere else what these scholars say. Such things are still existing and in part of practice. Now the same thing you can compare like a right hand side lower you can see. This is the map prepared by Leonardo da Vinci, 1502. He has also planned a sacred river in the east in Sarpaka, like serpentine, and I will compare Varanasi. So that is 1820, and here we are talking 1502. Look the similarity. Whatever mantras written there in a code, and then we find dots given in that old Italian script-like symbolism. So I have studied this about 7 years. Every year going for 2 weeks, they have invited me and then opened that door underground, the original one to see, and thanks to Father of the Milano Church, etc., they have helped. And this way we came to know that how this Rishi Parampara existed. So compare East is, what we say, like Kipling saying East is East, West is West. They never meet. We say they always meet if your eyes is open. That is the thing. That is the way that I think many of you know this, but the real man is based on 5th century and prepared by Leonardo da Vinci, and Fritjof Capra has written 2 books. The first book is Scientific Mind of Leonardo da Vinci, based on only one this picture. Now coming to that, and then you go to the Agama literature of our temple as a symbol. I will show one of the example. We can find lot of similarity. So somehow we think that that Rishi mind has gone to the West somehow. We don't know how, but anyway. See here. So left hand side you can see that is Leonardo da Vinci. Here Ikandaya Mahadev, Khajuraho, and you see our structure. Whole temple itself is nothing like stone or structure. It is the cosmic body itself. And that idea, some way, he described Leonardo in different words. So there is something like when we talk about the multidisciplinarity, so it is just like that you have to open your mind. In Hindi, let me say a line by Mahadevi Verma, तोड़ दो या क्षितिज कारा देख लो उसे और क्या है जा रहे जिस पथ से तुम उस पथ का अंतिम छोर क्या है. Oh my dears, always you have the preconceived concept. If you can open that one, then you find that whole cosmos is infinite, and our sages already explained this. It is your duty, why not you do this? That is the literal translation. So this is just to give you another perspective. Here is different yatra, that how they have tried to put the Kundalini Chakra 7 times. The yatra is moving just like Kundalini Chakra. Okay, some other unique, but because time is passing. Most of the people, those who know about Kashi and Banaras, they always talk about Vishwanath temple. Okay? First time in 1831, based on 1822 maps, James Spencer published a report. And all that design and controversy, whatever going on, that is based on his design. He said this is nothing like temple. You call it temple, this is a cosmogram. A cosmic design is there. How? It is a, if you see the basement from the back side, he has reconstructed 27 grids here, 27 here, 27 lunar mansions. So this is pure based on the astronomical things. Then we find a family that they have used that calculation for prediction. So we have published an article that it is maybe temple outside, but this was a great astronomical instrument to understand all this mystery. Okay, now Agam based on the goddesses. Okay, let me ask one question. How many goddesses according to our textual tradition? Any idea? It is fixed. According to textual tradition, it is fixed. Yes? Anybody guess? No. Where is, no. If you can Shiva and the goddess, the number will be the same. Very simple. Just now we have discussed space and time. 12 into 9, 108. We have also discussed 3 locus. Meso, then macro, meso and micro. Multiply 108 3 times without calculator. How many? Nobody can know this. 108 3 times. 300? 24 real? Okay, good. And that is the form. That is the number of Shiva, and that is exactly the number of gods. This way all linked together. So if you go to all this literature in deep, and then you found this all this numerical symbolism representing the cosmic whole. So this is just to an attempt based on Agam that how this hexagram is developing like this. So we have plotted all the 324 that's representing Kashi, and the result is like this. After plotting all this, as you go to the center, that is a fire element, Manikarnika, all that shrine are going to be closed. As you go out, they are going to disturb, complete distortion. Inner side is complete clustering, and that is the way what Philip Copra said, and Kimball will publish it. This is the only example in the whole world where you are testing self-organized criticality theory, chaos theory of theoretical physics to the practical way. In religious terms, that is used in a different context. That is the example. Vishalakshi, you know the 51? How many Shakti Pitas? Sometimes 52, sometimes 52, but mostly 51. Standard 51. Any meaning? 51 sound character in the old Sanskrit. And 51 that is necklace, human skull, that mother skull. And then wrong interpretation that Kali drinks blood. Again, two scholars from theoretical physics, they say no, she is a cosmic mother. She is not only explaining that one, she is explaining the whole nature of creation. Philip Copra and Chekhov, Uli Masters, the book that defined the whole thing. So when we are plotting on India frame, then only we can understand this. So let me say in a very simple way. This is one among the 3 such temples in the whole world, or in India I will say. So this is an example, of course, 1814, Jaya Narayan Ghoshal, the king of Midnapur state from Bengal. Based on tantric system, a whole building has been created. One is close to where Modiji was born, from 5 kilometers from his birthplace, that is one, and one is 60 kilometers north from Kolkata. So if you see the whole design, it is just like human chakra, whole body and converted into. So this is, earlier it was going to be lost, but thanks to ASI, now it is part of now exhibition and several programs are going on. So just to say that so many things, what we consider that in time frame lost, it is not lost. It is our duty to see, seek, and then try to maintain. This is another example. How many of you heard Ramnagar Ram Leela? Ram Leela going on in Ramnagar. That is part of UNESCO. That is the only place in the whole world. It goes to 27 places and 31 days. And really that is happening. If Lord Rama has to cross the river, there is already small rain. And the whole team will just watch. Nothing like modern thing, no. Anybody has seen Ramnagar Ram Leela? No. The man will come, the priest will come and loudly cry. Sechner has written 5 books on this. He had studied it 40 years. Attended 31 days. The great scholar now died last year. So the fellow will say, I can't say loudly, excuse me for Sadhan, Sadhan, Sadhan 3 times. And just imagine that 20, 30,000 to a lakh people, complete silence. This is all recorded. And then that is going on. That is the tradition, is still that is going on in that way, nothing like modern soul, etc. So this is a typical other example that this is no UNESCO at this side. This is another example of what I say, special transposition. So here you find that Jyotirlingas based on the first canto of Mahabharata, the 12. So that is going at least 1000 BC. What Surendra Bhardwaj has published the whole report on that, long back. And then all replicated before 9th century here. So this will take maybe 40-45 days yatra. There is special train service from Old Delhi, Jyotirlingi Gadi going on, and other chief, okay? And then comes here only 2.5 days. Within 3 days you will complete. So either you can choose 45 days, whole India, or you can say, and the same Chamastrotam. Because you are cheating Shiva. Okay. But no, there is another thing. You are coming for a short visit to 1 hour. There is no time. You can't do it for 3 days only Jyotirlinga in Kashi. Don't worry, here is only 2 hours. And this is a beautiful example and all going example, India level, city level, then one temple. And on that temple wall you find this all type of such miniatures with all inscription there. Of course, this is 18th century. So, no big deal. So now quickly let me pass to give you examples such like Gaya. Here also you find the 3 layers. Gaya is famous. Gaya is one among the 3 such places that has a special power to take the soul after death and settle it into heaven. Okay, 3 Astali Setu, that is the 12th century text, and that describe that. First one is Prayag, second is Kashi, and third is Gaya. Anybody can say anything only applicable in Gaya? Yes, Gaya? Anybody? Gaya. Not both Gaya, don't confuse. Gaya. Cheating itself is considered a divine act. And we have done a lot of work. That was our NASA program work. When we asked that, they say yes. When we have cheated something, ultimately we are dying, then Mother Sita has granted good. Okay, do that cheating, enjoy. That's why we cheat. We never feel that something wrong happening. No, we will do like this. So if you are ready for that one, then go Gaya. Another typical example of Gaya, by the way. You go there, then suddenly somebody will come and just try to touch your hand. Then what do you want? Oh, nothing. I want to see the time. Sudden. You'll be completely harassed. And then the fellow will laugh, ha ha ha. Oh my goodness. That is Gaya. But here is also simple thing I want to tell you. The same way what I have referred in terms of the solar science in Kashi, here also we find the same type of geometries here. The most complicated, well-developed, so accurate, 99% accuracy is that is Chitrakoot. It is based on Valmiki Ramayana. We have one description when Lord Rama gone to exile. He was settled here about more than 10 years. And that was the first question asked by Kim Malvin. Oh, Ramayana is for all that you are saying like this. He said, I am not saying that is in the text. Then he said, it means there is something very special. And that's how this whole survey has been done. So now you see that here the Valmiki Ashram, where Valmiki was sitting and describing. Here is Gupta Godavari, that is about 30 kilometers away. So now you can see the date. At least 800 or 1000 BC description of Valmiki Ramayana. When we have measured, it is about 100% same. That fellow describing go like this, then there will be rock like this, the signing will be the water like this. My goodness. When we have done this whole survey, this teamwork, this is nothing like anything individual, all teamwork, and then find this. Now see the typical example. Bina Hanuman ke Ram nahi milenge. If you are not worshipping Hanuman, no way you can meet Ram. When this question came to Kim Malvi, he said, no, there is something astronomical phenomena here. And that in Chitrakoot we solve that. First get blessing of mother, Sita, and then Hanuman, and then you go up, and then all that here, the measurement of values, exact triangle. This is the most recited example of the astronomical phenomena, then solar rays and all that, that I am not talking about this some of the curves, etc. So just giving you quickly example. Here is typical example. We say 52, Jildiji said 52, okay, 51, 52, that based on which text you are following. Here is a typical example. You see here all plotted on the map of India. So you start from the Sri Parvat to Kanyakumari, and then you say straight line the same longitude, then Himalayas in Pakistan and Kamakhya, same you will find the latitude. How? This is before 9th century. 9th century is the western date, but exact. And then what happened? That Vindhyachal was not mentioned in the first category. When we find 108, then we find Vindhyachal. And the survey result is this. Always apex down, that is Mother. When apex up, that is Shiva. And superimposition, that becomes Yantra. And you cross the center line, that is Anandamayi Ashraman, a cave. And the highest magnetic force is there. So Kim Bodwin always used to say that earth gravity and earth power the ancient sages received, and then they have put it in the code form. So if you have the key, then you can understand. If not, then you can think this is supermutation. Okay, time passing. Are you there also? 5 pilgrimage routes. Okay, like Chaurashi Koshi Yatra, which was going to be demolished 10 years ago. Oh, political, all this happened thanks to Yogi ji. You see that? He served like Raja Dashrath. He welcomed those Rama and Lakshmana. And he did 3 days yatra, walking. And now that whole route has evolved that. Now this is all codified. Mapping has been done. Chaurashi Koshi Yatra, like this is a typical example. When people start, first take holy bath, then worship Sri Ram, just to have a darshan. Those who have seen it there. Okay, here is a big deeper, 7 stars. So lower side black portion, this is due to light not very clear here. So that is astronomical, and then exactly they are here, small temples in area. And then we find textual description. So whole this big deeper has been converted on the surface. So when we are talking about the macro, then meso, then micro, and then there is a temple, Sapta Rishu Mandir. So that became the micro. So 3 level such things developed here. And the most complicated one is this, and the most cited this one is this. Khajuraho, what at the beginning I had cited. See the example. Exactly on Shivaratri, that sun rays will go to 21 temples directly. And that is 9 to 10th and 2 temples are 11th century. So helping all this calculation based on the NASA archives, Kimball will use to suggest that exact date what will be. And this way he helped the Vangna Desai and other such scholars that whatever you say approximate date, this is the exact date. So 10-15 days plus minus with all this calculation happened. So we have fixed the radar system for 80 kilometer coverage, and then how to go there, that was a problem. Because on every Shivrat, about half naked tribals will go there with snakes and scorpions. So that Banarsi people are famous for the drama. So we also put some tarred clothes. We have also put local liquor, then dhiri, or blah, 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 we also written. And inner side we have all instrument. So they accepted us. Oh, okay, come on. So local dialect we have tried to know little bit speaking, bidi like this. They accepted, otherwise you will be in trouble. When we reach there, we find there is a sphatic channel, and sunlight is touching and the reflecting. So everywhere our radar system controlled through NASA, then my goodness. Kim Malvi said, my goodness, this is the way. Exactly that touching here. Which was the method? So that is one example, and that helped us to support our Indological Deficit. Okay? So these are some of the examples based on this. You all know that Brihadeshwar, that is the only such building in the whole world, which has nothing like basement. It is all started from the surface. You know that still we have not detailed study. We have historical study, but nothing like astronomical study. And this has something very scientific thing. Of course, thanks to Indian Institute of Science here, some work is going on, but not yet published. Anyway, the result is here. 130,000 that weight, tons of granite, which never found if you put a line 80 kilometer radius, nowhere granite. It is all available. How that can be carried? Who has come? They showed us. And then 2 more temples are made because his son thought that something is missing, then he has made, then his son also made. So we have tried to survey all this, but this is just giving you in short that these are the historical things. Okay, Gangaization of Indian culture. 2-3 more slides, 5 minutes more extra I can take. My building good, I've got time, I can watch it. So here is, this is based on a very simple example of Srimad Bhagavatam. Gayanti Deva Kilagita Gani, that is a description of this whole India as a mother, and that is a concept that Ganga is everywhere. Ganga is not only in North India. Like in South India, Kaveri Ganga of the south, Mahanadi Ganga of the east, then Godavari Ganga of the... You see the description of original text, and not only translation by the Western scholars. That is the big problem. And thanks to Subhas Kapoor, who has recently translated 4 Upanishads, an introduction saying that who has given you right to translate our mother? I am from that root, and directly written that most of these translations are mistaken, manipulated. Here I am trying that who am I? How you can say who am I? I am the right. That are free available. On the net you can open and see. That I am saying this is the way. So that my Guruji used to say that this is the way that whole Mother India to frame Gangaization of India culture. That is another typical example. Bharat Mata Mandir, that is only one piece in the whole world. The surface and verticality, it has 9.36 times ratio, you can measure at any point. Nowhere else. But what Banarsi people do? They go there, they spit, ha ha ha, he. They throw something, do nothing. And many things, paintings, others sing, laugh. That is Banaras. They say, why? Oh, Lord Shiva will take care, why should I bother? So that is Banarsi style, I am sorry to say. Yeah, Banarsi Bahu, in a way. Now Banarsi Chacha, Banarsi Modi, Banarsi Dada. All happened under the name of Banarsi. Anyway. Okay, that now the last 2-3 slides. This is just to say, unique thing happened in history that started more politicized or support with the government in 2019. That is Prayag Magh Mela, which is converted as Kumbh Mela. So originally that is Magh Mela. If you can read the Atharva Veda, we have full description. D.P. Dupe had translated all this textual tradition. Here also, first we thought, oh, this is general description. But when we have done the astronomical work under that project, then we find that here also the same thing, 3 layers. Inner, then covering, and the outer circle. And the site is defined, that this will be like this. When you have used the detailed such mapping, then you find that, oh my goodness, this is the way things define. And these are all astronomical, you all know that. 2015, this year, that was the maximum. We are not sure that 144 years gap or not. This is still controversial. But the project was only for 45 crores. And people came 66.3 crores. That is the way. Then there were crises. But Kim Malvin used to say that after this such number, where is the ratio of any crisis? Who has maintained this? How it is going on? So these are some of the unique feature when we are talking like this. This is the way first time in 1989 a well planned for new Kumbh city predicted, and now you can see the present one. So both sides well developed. So just imagine 66 crore, several countries, the way 2-3 countries population together will be like this. So we are crying that, oh, 60 people died. See the ratio. Already 200, 300, 500 people died in the feast. So it was no big deal in that way. Okay, we are very sorry to know this, all this. Anyway, now see the little bit comparison. 2019, 115 million, now 663 million. First time the CTT camera used. First time the total tent gone 160,000. These are based on the survey of the government and our students, thanks to those who have done field work like this one. Okay, just to have some glimpse. This area is called nose, because you see from other side you see just like nose. So people started calling it nose, and Western scholars use it to say, what is the sangam? That is a nose. So we are fond of that one. Okay, but anyway, Vatsha butter, which is the one among the 3 oldest butter, and I think you can recognize this fellow. Anybody? Anybody can recognize? Modi ji. So this is in another way to give him this. I am not talking anything political, but the thing is that at least some personality, when I am going to that, this is the UNESCO site. This is highlighted. You see the website, etc. This is unique in the whole world. So if little bit some image is going from the political side, a such person, that gives a different shape. So this is unique, but not to be misused also. That is another way or danger of them. Some of the seeds. The oldest image of snake worship, 34th century, Bharshin Nagas dynasty. This is basalt, all made of basalt. It is just like Kailash. You know about that Kailash, that is all made of basalt. Till date, there is nothing like any scientific instrument to create that basalt or granite to cut polished stone. The moment you cut, it will chip, it will be out. How they have made. Okay? Okay, 2, 3 more, then let me complete. Banaras Hindu University is also only one university or only one such monument in the whole world that was built in 1916 based on the karmic system, the 5 such semicircle, Panchabhutas, then 7 this side, 7 this side, that is the Bhuvan Kosha. 7 Kundali up, then 7 Kundali down. This way the whole thing went. But very sorry to say, within 5 years, during these 5 years, now demons are working there. Rakshasas are working and they have destroyed so many things. And many scholars, okay, Richard Lennon now died, he wrote an article that I will feel that I have to commit suicide because BHU that has developed like this and now going to be lost by architectural symbolism. Anybody knowing that who has planned this? So that is another big propaganda. Malviji done everything. No, Malviji's credit was he selected such great scholars, Petit Vidis. The man who was for 10 years not taking onion and garlic, doing all the yoga, and then offered himself that I will design this. And the book has been written, Banaras Seen from Within, by Richard, and the whole chapter with all document given, how this has been created. But now, things are changing, but change is the law of nature anyway. You just compare Banaras Hindu University temple, and now here you can see where to come. Okay, now 2 more slides. What do we want? Thus we would have sustainable, happy and habitable, humane, spiritual, cultural landscape. Let us hope for the truthfulness through the goodness in the beautiful way, what we call Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Just example what I have cited. In the year 48 from Ayodhya Maharani gone to Korea, and that's how 60% population from the same mother. Thanks to Yogi Ji and Mogi Ji, first time in history that during 5-6 years the whole collaboration started. The whole marriage procession, about 100 people coming from Korea to celebrate the marriage of our mother, cosmic mother. Ho, Surya Putra, Putri, that was the name in Sanskrit, and Hoe in Korean. They all come like that, and now they have developed the monument and all those things in Ayodhya. That is unique thing happened. So that is a typical example. Here is a little bit danger. Danger is that this is a spiritual sense. Now we are trying to pose something modern, like corridorization we started. So I am sorry to say, I'm old guy, please excuse me. These are the way that how that started. The story started in 2005, and now it is going like this. Every day they are coming, and now they are running so many fellowship and program for collaborative work. Some of the nearby, one unique thing from India, you are seeing this one among the 3 in the whole world. That is called Salakam. This is about 90 kilometers away from the main center point of Varanasi. And we find 1.54 billion years old, the first life started here. It is now published in scientific literature. But what we do, the same thing. We go there, we spit, I love Gita, you come Sita. My goodness. But thanks to the DM, just 6 months ago, the district magistrate of that area, they have put the whole fencing, then all this scientific reference, that look, this is going to be unique. So we have to preserve that site, and if you want to enjoy that site, then go to that nearby, enjoy those things, but don't disturb that one. Okay, here is a new movement that is started in 2021, reconnecting with your culture. In India, 2 centers it is working. I am one of the examples of that one, that we have to create one, nothing like always to say outside. So this is holiness, humanity, wholeness, sublimity, this way to link education for life, education throughout life, education throughout life. This is the way we have to follow on, then only we can do this thing. And two more messages. One is from Aikaliya Brahmana, Charai Vai to Charai Vai. Let us go in that way. Go means nothing like that. Dibya Drishti. What in English called clairvoyance. Anubhav se anubhut kiyo. From self-realization to revelation. Then only we can make, and here you can see the image of our great founder. So we have three such messages together. Vivekananda, Shankaracharya, and then you can say it started like this way. And here is Manshukiji. And here is a representative of this whole genius, the whole spirit, the whole blessing to Aapko Sadar Sadar Charana Sparsha Pradhan. And now the last one is thank you just to say. So that is the way that is spirit. It is nothing like the text. It is a deep faith from father to son. We have to from past, present and future all in together. That is very famous photograph from a photographer called Singh. And the last one is based on Kathopanishad. Is the fifth lecture by Vivekananda. When a student had asked this question, okay, we have listened to you 5 days. Anything last you want to say to me? And then he said, it is so simple. Everybody knows. And then he cited Kathopanishad, but mostly people say this is Vivekananda saying, but you see the original, that is Kathopanishad. Utishtata Jagrata Prapte Varani Bodha. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. We will make our country. We will make that culture alive. Nothing like always to say that government will do. Who formed the government? We formed the government. We are the government. So that is the feeling, and with that again you will find that that great master is here. In his honor, this is that. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to say something like that and to remember the great master and having the special transposition in a body. Here is the man. So pranam.